Social change requires a shift in our collective consciousness from scarcity to abundance, so we can work together to embrace change, share our knowledge and resources, show compassion to others, think big, and truly recognize that if we work together, we won't miss out on pie. Okay, I feel like this video has been a really long time in the making, and now that I'm actually making it, like, I don't even know what to say or how to start it. Basically, I kind of made a video at the start of the year talking about how I was like setting my intentions for the year and setting my goals, and I was going to be using like manifestation and the law of attraction within my personal life. And since then, I really don't want to say this word, but like I've gone through like somewhat of a spiritual awakening. And I don't like the word awakening. It sounds a bit cliche and woo-woo. But when I like look at what the word awakening means, awakening is like, you know, a shift in your consciousness. And I feel like there has been a very clear shift in my consciousness in regards to things like spirituality. And it's something that I've resisted for so long. I've always been really interested in philosophy, obviously. I studied philosophy, did my honours degree in philosophy. And I've always been interested in social change, and I've always been drawn to the world of spirituality, but it's something that I've always resisted because I felt like I had to prove myself as a very, you know, logical person, I guess, as somebody who is pursuing a career in academia and whatnot. But I've recently really began diving deep and exploring the world of spirituality and how it kind of relates to philosophy and social change. I want to just like clarify, when I talk about, like, when I say spirituality means different things to different people. For me, what I really mean when I talk about spirituality is I'm really talking about like the non-tangible aspects of the human experience and the world and life. So whether you interpret that as like energetics and energy, you know, you might think of specific tools like tarot cards and crystals, or whether you're not really into that, it can also just mean like the like mindset that you have and your thoughts and your consciousness and what it means to kind of like be human and who you are as a being and all that kind of like philosophy of mind kind of stuff. So like however you want to interpret it, that's entirely up to you. I feel like I sit somewhere like in the middle. I'm like exploring the more like woo-woo things, but like I don't really know where I stand on them yet. But obviously I come from that philosophical background, so I am very drawn to spirituality in the sense of like mindset and personal development and self-development and all that kind of stuff. Anyway, that's a really long way of basically saying I've really been exploring this. And you may have seen, you probably haven't because I've kept it kind of like fairly private, but I started a new Instagram account because I just felt like I was writing everything in like my notebooks and I just really wanted some kind of like outlet or a platform to share my thoughts and what I was learning and thinking. So I created an Instagram account. It's called A New Humanity. And if you're like interested in hearing my thoughts or whatever, you can like go and give that a follow. It's kind of just like a personal spiritual shitposting diary at this point. But the point of this video, and I feel like I need to make this video because I feel like this is a message that I needed to hear several years ago or several months ago when I was kind of drawn to the world of spirituality, and I kept pushing back and resisting it so much. And it really is the message that spirituality is key for social change. The kind of really meaningful social change that we want in the world, the kind of justice and equity that we want to create, the kind of peace that we want to see amongst people all around the world, and that kind of like peaceful coexistence amongst humans and non-humans is only really possible if we have a significant shift in our collective consciousness. And that simply won't happen without exploring spirituality and harnessing the power of inner change. And this is something that I know. I know this so well because I've literally built a business. The Humanitarian Changemakers Network, the social enterprise that I run, is built around a framework for social change. And one of the four main like types of social change that we teach is achieved through conscious living. It's about people improving their knowledge of and commitment to different issues, going through the process of education and getting experience, and basically aligning all of their values and their actions with what they learn. And we call this process conscious living. And conscious living is always been a huge part of like my purpose as a person. It's literally been like in my Instagram bio since I was like 19, and like I remember I like, it sounds very like eat pray love, but like I was on one of my first kind of like big solo trips that I took was 3 months traveling around Europe. And back then I never used to travel by I used to travel, I was traveling on the train, but I never used to get like a local SIM cards and stuff like that, so I'd never had any like internet connection, and I was like traveling light, so I didn't really have any like books to read, and I would literally just like sit there and stare out the window of a train for up to 8 hours a day, and I was just there and I was like thinking, and I was, you know, kind of learning about myself and who I am. And it was on a train ride somewhere in France, I think it was, that I really sat down and thought about what my purpose was in life. And that's when I kind of came up with that 3-part purpose: living consciously, exploring the world, and changing the world. And that's literally been in my Instagram bio since that kind of like came to me. It was almost what I would now consider to be like a divine like thought, or what some people call like divine downloads, where like the universe sends you this like message that you need to hear. I feel like that's what it was now, like in hindsight. And that's always been a part of who I am and how I live my life, and it's a part of the brand that I built online. And now I realize, like I'm at a point where I realize that a big part of conscious living, which is not only important for me to live out my purpose and live a good life, but it's also really key for social change. A big part of conscious living is that spiritual aspect of it. And I wouldn't be true to myself, and I wouldn't be true to my purpose, and I wouldn't be serving people from a truly authentic place if I was to kind of hold back and not share that with people. So that was my main motivation, I guess, for kind of like starting a New Humanity, the Instagram. And I kind of just wanted to like create this video to kind of bridge the gap between the video that I created at the start of the year, where I was kind of talking about like introducing like spirituality into my life and the law of attraction, manifestation and stuff like that, and to then hopefully creating more content about this kind of stuff for you guys on my YouTube channel if you're interested in it. Obviously, if it's not something that you're interested in, you know, you don't have to watch any of those types of videos after this. I think that you know, I've built such a kind of, my brand covers so many things, whether you follow me because you're interested in travel, whether you're interested in learning more or getting tips about working in the sex industry, whether it's academia or entrepreneurship, social change, like whatever you follow me for, I always kind of think like people will take what they want from me and leave the rest. And it's the same with this. If spirituality is not something that interests you based on where you are in your journey, leave it. Take what you want from me, leave this. But if it is something that you feel drawn to, or it's something that you feel like could add value to your life, or it's something that maybe you've resisted in the past, then I really encourage you to join me on this journey through my spiritual awakening. I don't like saying it, it still feels really cringe, but whatever. Before I wrap up this video, what I really wanted to do is just read a little passage from my book, The Changemaker in You. It's the official Humanitarian Changemakers Network handbook, a social change guide for young Aussies or young changemakers anywhere in the world. But this is just something that I wanted to read, which I think kind of will get you thinking about the role of spirituality in social change. And that's basically all about an abundance and scarcity mindset, and how this kind of affects like our collective consciousness. Imagine all of the resources in the world represented as a pie. People with a scarcity mindset are concerned that they won't get a big enough slice of the pie, or if someone else gets more pie, there will be less pie for them. By contrast, people with an abundance mindset realize that there is no limit to the amount of pie available. Someone else's share of pie won't take away from yours, and we can always bake more pies or explore new pie recipes. A scarcity mindset is a way of viewing the world with a deep sense of fear and insecurity, believing that we are in competition with one another and there will never be enough for everyone. An abundance mindset is a way of viewing the world with a deep sense of worth and security, believing that if we collaborate with one another and share resources and decision-making capabilities, it will open up more creative opportunities and possibilities. Social change requires a shift in our collective consciousness from scarcity to abundance, so we can work together to embrace change, share our knowledge and resources, show compassion to others, think big, and truly recognize that if we work together, we won't miss out on pie. So I really hope that served you in some way, even if the rest of this video didn't. But I look forward to making more videos about this kind of stuff on my channel for you guys.